Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Chase Chrisley opens up about true thoughts on parents' arrest. Chase Chrisley has opened up about his true thoughts on his parents' arrest. This is something that Chase has not said too much on. Fans know exactly where his sister, Savannah Chrisley, stands. However, Chase has not talked too much on the subject. Well, until now. He has let all of his feelings be known. There is a lot to unfold. Keep reading to find out more about this situation. Todd and Julie Chrisley in federal prison. Todd and Julie Chrisley are currently in federal prison. This is because they were arrested for tax evasion and fraud. Apparently, they were scamming the bank by submitting fake documents to fill out loans. However, the family is denying any of these claims. This has been going on for a while. However, Julie recently had a resentencing hearing that could have potentially let her out early. Sadly, the judge did not shave any time off of her sentence and added probation time to it instead. Yikes. The family is not happy and still hopes Donald Trump will pardon Todd and Julie. Chase Chrisley gives his true thoughts on parents' arrest. Chase Chrisley has given his true thoughts on his parents' arrest. This is something he hasn't spoken too much on, so fans are intrigued. Wow, Chase let it all out. He claims his parents never stole money from anyone and that it was Todd's business partner. It seems as though Chase is not happy about his parents' arrest. In fact, he is really mad about it. Chase is blaming Todd's business partner for all of the wrongdoings. However, the court seems to have enough evidence on Julie and Todd to have arrested them. So fans are not sure what they should believe at this point. The Chrisley family is still hoping that Donald Trump will pardon Todd and Julie Chrisley. For years, Chase Chrisley had kept a brave face, smiling for cameras and standing tall as his family weathered the legal storm that culminated in the arrest and sentencing of Todd and Julie Chrisley. Now, in a candid and emotional sit-down interview, the Chrisley Knows Best star is finally opening up about what really went through his mind the day his parents were taken away, and the storm of emotion that's followed ever since. I was angry, Chase admits, leaning forward, hands clasped tightly. Not just at the system, not just at what they were being accused of. I was angry at everyone, at the media, at people who turned their backs on us, and even at them. He paused, swallowing hard. The tension in the room hung thick, like smoke after a fire. I love my parents more than anything, but I won't sit here and pretend I didn't have questions. I did. I still do. Chase recalls the exact moment he heard the verdict. I was in my car, he says. I had just dropped Chloe off at a dance class, and my phone lit up. Guilty. My stomach just dropped. I remember pulling over, putting my head on the steering wheel, and screaming. Not crying. Screaming. It wasn't just the shock of the verdict, it was the unraveling of a world that had once felt untouchable. Growing up in the Chrisley household meant being surrounded by pristine white sofas, luxury SUVs, and a father who never hesitated to remind everyone, we're blessed and highly favored. But beneath the surface, Chase reveals, there was pressure. We were expected to be perfect. Not just on camera, but all the time. You mess up. It reflects badly on the brand, on the family, on Dad. That pressure, he says, made it even harder to process the fallout of the trial. The people who always told me to keep my nose clean, to walk a straight line, they were now the ones behind bars. That messes with your head. But Chase isn't interested in painting himself as a victim. He's brutally honest. I was mad at them. Not because they did or didn't do what they were accused of. That's between them and God. But because everything crashed down and we were left picking up the pieces. His voice softens as he talks about his sister, Savannah, who took custody of their younger siblings and became the public face of the family's resilience. She was a rock. I don't know how she did it. I was spiraling, drinking too much, avoiding people. She was waking up, making lunches for Chloe, handling court dates, doing podcasts.
He reflects on the
She
eerie
didn't have a
silence
choice.
in the Chrisley house,
None of us once did. Bustling with sarcasm, laughter, and drama. It felt haunted. Their scent still lingered in the hallways. Mom's perfume, Dad's cologne. I didn't go to their bedroom for months. Then with a small, almost embarrassed laugh, he adds, sometimes I'd catch myself talking to the walls, like I was still doing one of those confessional interviews for the show. That's how much of our lives were wrapped up in being the Chrisleys. Eventually, Chase sought therapy, got sober, and started asking himself the questions he'd been avoiding. Who am I without the cameras? Without the name? Without Dad telling me what to do? He also started writing in a journal, pages full of unfiltered thoughts, memories, and questions for his parents. Why didn't you just stop? One entry read, why did we have to live like royalty when normal would have been enough? Still, his love for Todd and Julie hasn't wavered. They made mistakes. Maybe big ones. Maybe not as big as the headlines say. But they're human, and they're still my parents. I'll never abandon them. Not now. Not ever. Chase visits both parents regularly, splitting time between the two prisons and sending them updates on Chloe, Savannah, and even Nanny Faye. Dad is still Dad, he says with a half smile. He's got his little prison crew he bosses around. Mom's quieter, more reserved. She writes me letters like it's the 1800s. They're full of Bible verses and little doodles. It's both sweet and heartbreaking. In one particularly raw moment, Chase pulls out a folded letter from his pocket. It's from Julie, and the ink is slightly smudged. Chase, I think of you every morning when the sun hits my window. Keep your heart kind and your spirit strong. No matter where I am always your mother. He reads it aloud, his voice trembling. That's what keeps me going, he says, eyes moist. Not the fame, not the show, just knowing they're still trying to be parents, even from behind those walls. Asked what he wants people to know most about his parents' arrest, Chase takes a long pause. I want people to stop acting like we're a Netflix drama. We're real people. My little sister cries herself to sleep sometimes. My dad cries on the phone. My mom, she's trying to believe this is all part of God's plan. He continues, and me. I'm trying to figure out what my purpose is. I know I was that goofy kid on TV for years, but maybe now's the time for me to be something more, someone better. With a deep breath, he adds, I'm no longer afraid to speak the truth, even when it hurts. As the cameras pack up and the room empties, Chase lingers for a moment. He looks out the window, past the lights, the crew, the carefully staged interview set. You can't rewrite the past, he says quietly. But you can decide what you're going to do with the ashes. And with that, he walks away, no longer just the son of Todd and Julie Chrisley, but a man forging his own identity in a world that finally sees his truth.